Everybody, welcome back with the Plat. Was I wrong? Maybe. I don't know if I would say I was wrong. I never said Cheetah was bad, all right? But I do think it is reasonable to say that I was undervaluing this character, and it's a character I look forward to using more moving forward. Depends on the team, though. Right now, there isn't a lot of reason to bring a bunch of characters, and if you have Suomi, you may not need Cheetah, but I think this character is quite a bit better than I was thinking, because I just wasn't really looking at her that closely. But there is some utility here that I don't think any other character really has that I've seen. So let's kind of go over her kit. We'll take a look at what I kind of recommend, how to build her, and then where is she going to be best. Now, it is worth noting, I think that this is a character that is really going to fully power on at level 40, but she's still good before then because I'm not level 40 yet, so I'm gonna do a little bit of speculating here. But let's just jump right into it. So Cheetah, who is she? What does she do? She is a support. She is good at keeping people alive, but she's kind of a weird support. She is a damage dealing support, and her damage isn't great, but basically, what do I mean here? So her passive here is that after she attacks and she's under the effect of a buff, she will heal. So every time she does an attack, she will heal someone else, which is good, right? That's powerful. So how does that work with her ultimate? Her ultimate is probably her best ability, which is not crazy to say, but you know, it is. Blazing Assault 2 and 3 random buffs to all allied targets within 6 tiles. That's 15% attack. The 3 random buffs is kind of low value. They're usually pretty bad. It could just be something like, oh, you get take 10% less AoE damage. And I'm like, that's whatever. It's something, but random buffs are not super high value. However, if you have something that cares about being buffed in general, like she needs to have a buff on, so it's fine. But Blazing Assault is guaranteed is really good. 15% attack, 3 random buffs within 6 tiles for 2 turns. She also will recover her energy based on this, which is her only way to recover energy that I see in her kit. So it's kind of low. However, when you do get her this up to level 3 and you get 2 energy per ally, this is basically a full recharge every single time you use it, and it's fantastic. But you also gain support, which can be activated 2 times for 2 turns. So meaning you're going to use this, you're going to give everyone a big buff, a pretty reasonable buff anyway, and you gain support 2 times for 2 turns. So it's going to be a total of 4 support attacks following up on single target attacks. But every time you do one of those attacks, because you now have a buff and because you are dealing damage, you will heal. So this is an AoE buff that is decent, and also it adds damage to your other character's attacks, and it'll allow you to heal multiple times a turn. So overall, very good. And whenever she attacks, she is going to end up healing as well, even if this is the only time she doesn't end up healing directly right then. Outside of that, she'll owe all of her other abilities or attacks, and then she will be healing after that. In this one, she could still heal, but you just need to have one support here. So Fireworks Festival. This is a good ability, but the Neural Helix has a complete transformation of this ability, but I haven't reached level 40 yet, so I can't actually show you guys, but we can go look at it, and that's where our speculation is going to be. But this isn't a little AoE. The targeting on this is pretty bad. The fact that it only targets within 2 squares, and it has to target an actual enemy target, makes this difficult to actually hit multiple enemies with. However, when you do, it does do AoE damage equal to 80% of attack, which is bad, but it heals. Also, you're going to heal someone else, but it applies overheating. This is a really sick ability. Command Prohibition. This allows the use of active skills. It's a burn debuff. So if they don't dispel this, they're not allowed to use skills. This is going to be very good against enemies that want to do more than this auto attack. This actually could be really good in PvP. It depends. Most PvP teams, the way it works, you're probably going to be able to dispel this, but they have to spend an action to dispel this. Then, if they were going to do it anyway with someone else, then it's not that good. But if they have to do something they didn't want to do, or they just like do an auto attack, this could be very powerful. I think this is a very cool ability, and I like it a lot. The targeting is pretty lousy, but the damage is reasonable. And again, like with all these, after using an attack, you're going to restore HP. You have to have a buff, but that's kind of like what you're planning on her having a buff, right? Then her Spicy Candy. This is mainly her damaging attack. 140% attack, but if you have Blazing Assault, you also get 20% more attack. So it's actually a pretty high percent. It is burn damage, and you're going to get the buff Blazing Assault because that is from your ultimate. So overall, her kit is basically buff the whole team and then start attacking. And as you're attacking, you're going to start healing your team. This is like, okay, it's reasonable. I think right in here, the highlights is overheating is actually pretty darn good, but she has a couple of good things going for her. So if we go for the fortifications here, you know, level up your ultimate to get more buffs is fine. It's not insane. Extra damage is like whatever. It's not really her thing. Fireworks Festival level 2 is pretty nice because this brings us down from 3 cost to 2 cost. Level 4, it makes her healing better, which is good. I'm not super impressed with it. And there's another one is another healing thing. So these are both healing things. And then at level 6, this is the big one here. Surprise box level 3. You get basically your mana gets increased. Instead of getting 1 per ally, you get 2 per ally. So this will, if you have 3 allies near you, you're going to go straight up to 6, and you're going to be every 3 turns, you're going to go up to 6, and that will be enough to maintain you for the entire fight. So she is much better when she gets to level 6 here. As far as her helixes here, these ones are all going to be pretty simple. When you get to the first one, if she's a low level, you might want to consider getting the legitimate research expenses, the 3 points of mana at the start of battle. Once you get her to level Fortification 6, you definitely don't need it anymore. But if below Fortification 6, there is a case where you unlock both of these, and I think that this one is reasonable. Because it just, you want to have her mana be all the way up, so because her other abilities require her to use her mana, and so you need her to be doing stuff besides just auto attacking. But the other one here is actually pretty sick. Action support's range is increased by 2 tiles. So her normal attack range is only 6 tiles. It's an SMG, very short. But this brings it up to 8 range, which is the same as like a Quilulo here, or whatever her name is. I can't remember the top of my head. But that's like a full-on assault rifle range. So it's going to make this support from your ultimate actually like happen way more frequently, way easier. She doesn't need to be in a really aggressive position to make it happen. And overall, she'll just have more targets in her range. So this is a very good ability. I like this a lot. I absolutely recommend getting that one. For sure, pretty much always this one's going to be on. Once you get up to level 2 here, the second ones, this one is a little bit easier as well. Like attacks increase by 3% for each buff the user has, up to 15%. So what if you got 5 buffs, you get 15% attack? I think this sucks. She doesn't really care about dealing damage. She's not really a damage dealer. She does get it does increase her attack, which then increases her healing, so this is kind of nice, but I just feel like it's not really worth the slot, especially once you get up here. But maybe right when you get it is reasonable if you really want to have 3 slots, but I would stick with the Goldfinger here. Spicy Candy gets a new effect when you have Blazing Assault, which it already has a secondary condition. If you have Blazing Assault, deals 20% more damage like we spoke about, but also it'll restore HP equal to 100% of attack to the nearest allied target, excluding yourself. So now you're going to attack, you're going to heal a pretty big heal on the nearest ally, then your other heal will also kick in. So this becomes healing multiple targets on already your highest damage ability. So pretty good overall. I think this is a pretty nice little upgrade to the character. Now, when you get here, the bottom one I don't really care about here. Genius's Pride. If Blazing Assault is present at the end of the action, restore HP equal to 20% of attack to self. This is a self-heal. I just don't feel like this is super good, especially at this stage, but this other one here is insane. The active skill Fireworks Festival. This is the one that does overheat, AoE, single target, or target an enemy, and but you can't target like a square, so it's kind of got bad targeting. This no longer deals damage to enemy targets. Its effect is modified to restore HP equal to 90% of attack to allied targets within range and cleanses a debuff. At level 40, she gets an AoE heal. Now, this is the strongest AoE heal in the game from a pure heal standpoint. Now, Suomi has a much better AoE heal in the sense that it heals, it shields, it does damage mitigation, it does debuffs on the enemy, it does damage to the enemy, like all that in one skill, and it could be used more frequently probably. Not more frequently. This one actually could be used more frequently, but This ability is not as good, but this heal is stronger. Like this is a Suomi does like a 30% heal based off of her attack, I think. It could be her HP or her defense, but this is a 90% heal off of her attack. And all of her abilities scale with her attack, so it's already going to be kind of what she is doing. Now, I don't know, because I don't have it yet, if this is going to remove, this is where the speculation is this going to remove the overheat mechanic? It just says it no longer deals damage to enemy targets. It doesn't say that you can't still overheat enemy targets if they're within range. I assume that it removes all of that, and it just becomes a target square or target ally and do a heal. Because there's no way they're going to make it so you have to target an enemy and then do an AoE heal around them, right? So you have to read into this ability more than what I can see here. But the point is, this is huge. An AoE heal is really hard to come by, and this is going to be the best AoE heal we have in the game for people that come a little bit later, or if they don't get a second copy of Suomi, or they just start after Suomi leaves. Cheetah is probably going to be the best healer that you're going to be able to have for an AoE healing thing. And again, she's also got the support thing, so she's going to be healing multiple times a turn if she's doing her support attacks. And then she gets her other attack here, where she gets to attack and heal twice, and then she has an AoE heal here. So she doesn't have as good of buffs for the most part, I don't think. I think some of these other healers have like I like the maybe she does have better buffs, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I mean, all the different healers bring something different to the table. I think that this is a pretty sick ability, though. I mean, come on, this ability is badass. So you're definitely going to want to get this when you get there. And it might be one you take on and take off depending on the fight, because maybe you do want the damage and overheating. Maybe you're running an AoE team and you want the AoE damage. This is a pretty lousy AoE attack, but overheating is good, so I would recommend that. So as for everything else regarding the gear, she does have a signature weapon, basically. I mean, everyone does. When applying a buff to an allied target, increase the damage dealt by the next active skill by 12%. This is not very good. It's like very whatever, but there's nothing else that has anything that does anything for her, right? So it's kind of like, why? So right now, as far as the weapons I have, this is the only thing that's like remotely usable. It does have the trait here. If you've used more than 5 tiles, you gain movement up 2 for the next turn after the start of the next action. It's whatever. She doesn't really care about her damage. I mean, she will do some damage. You don't want to mitigate it. It's not like she does 0. It's just like, she's not really a damage dealer. As far as the attachments here, I mean, you're going to want to go with things that give you attack percent and then defensive stats, because you need the attack because that increases her healing. And then you just want the defensive stats because you want to live. That's it. She's a healer. You don't want her to be at risk of dying, you know? I think it's a cool looking silencer. They got a bunch of cool muzzles, bro. I even like the dirty broken one. This one's my favorite, though. As far as the actual effects, let's go and actually take a look at them really quick, because I remember most of them, but I don't remember all of them off the top of my head because I'm still learning the game along with a lot of people. Ultimate Pursuit, probably not. The cover one, probably not. You're probably going to go with the emergency repair, right? If an allied unit's HP is fully healed by an active skill, restore 2 points of their stability index, triggers once per turn. That one could be pretty good. When using defensive skills, area defense 2 to allied units for 2 turns, this could be pretty good too, actually. It only decreases AoE damage taken, but you're going to want basically one of these supporty ones, right? You don't need, this increases damage. If there's any of these increased attack, that could be worth it, but I don't think so. So I would pick one of these 2 reasons, and then just buffer attack and then buffer survivability. I would not go all out on attack to make it as high as possible at any cost. I would just focus on putting some into attack and then some onto survivability. But overall, this is a character that I think I was wrong about. I kind of was considering her not very good, and I also said there was only 1 AoE heal in the game, but she's got an AoE heal once she hits level 40. She has got a huge amount of buffs she gives to the team. She is able to do multiple heals per turn, you know, 1 guaranteed, maybe even 2 guaranteed if she's got the right neural helix, and then up to 4, you know, heals a turn, and then another AoE heal. So she's got just a great healing output, combined with just doing some reasonable damage. combined with just making other people stronger with blazing assault and stuff like that. So and also, sorry, not to mention overheating is just a very powerful effect to have. This is very good. Overheating mean it so they have to use auto attacks is what it sounds like, because I assume an auto attack doesn't count as an active skill, but everything else, I mean, that's crazy. And that is going to be all for the Cheetah here. We'll give her a zoom in. See, she doesn't like it when you zoom in on her. But yeah, better than I thought. Let me know what you think about her overall. Am I wrong? Am I right initially? Am I wrong this time? Right initially? Is she actually dog shit? I am going to use her some more in some fights, but building all the characters, it just takes a lot of resources. I did level her up so I could actually start using her today. But I just I haven't really used her that much yet, but obviously I could take a look on paper. The issue is, like, I don't want to run her over Suomi, but I'm definitely going to, just to try it out. I'm hoping we'll get some content where we got to use multiple, where we get to use multiple teams. Because I would like to run a couple different 4-man teams and have like a joint operation, you know. Anyway, yeah, guys, that's all for today. Thank you very much. Purplatypus is Purplatypus. I'll see you on the flip flops. Bye. On the rise, watch the views go.